Hey Lunarticks! This reading is for anyone who identifies as or is drawn to Scorpion energy during December 2018. It may be just for the first half of the month for some of you. It may be for the entirety of December for others. I do intend to put out mid-month readings, so it very well may just be for the first half of the month for some of you. But in any case, when I say it's for anyone who identifies with Scorpion energy, I mean that it may be your sun, your moon, your ascendant, your Mars, your Venus, or any other placement. You may just want to call that energy into your life. If you don't actually identify as a Scorpio, you may be interested in a particular Scorpio outside of yourself. And I have been recently called to mention that admittedly the reading isn't for cross-watchers, but I know sometimes messages do come through for cross-watchers, so I'm certainly not discouraging cross-watching. Scorpios, what deck do you want to use? I told myself I would know when I started the recording, but I'm not sure which one you want. We always use the Deviant Moon Tarot. I've been using the Radiant Rider-Waite. Dreams of Gaia has been wanting to talk, but it's not a traditional tarot deck. It's got 81 cards. The major arcana is different, so I sort of like to use it like an oracle deck. And that leaves us with Paulina Cassidy's SpirtSong Tarot, which is what we are going to go with for your reading today, Scorpios. I love this deck. The art is gorgeous. It just doesn't translate to camera as well. I need many and more new decks for this channel, for you all, for us. I would love them. For those of you who are interested, info on private readings is down below. Check out the description and do like and subscribe if you would, if you feel called to do so. If you haven't, I really appreciate it. And we will jump right into December 2018 messages for Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, or anyone drawn to the Scorpio energy at this time. You've got sentiment and joy showing up, covering you. It's the Six of Shells, so that's the Six of Water, or the Six of Cups in a more traditional deck. Here's that awesome art that just doesn't translate quite as well to camera that we're talking about. And the words noted here are, again, sentiment and joy. The Six of Water, the Six of Cups, for me is fond memories, nostalgia, especially pictured with just one other person here. It's probably someone else in particular that you have on your mind this month. And then the Awakening card, reversed. So I said that the Six of Shells is what's covering you. That's actually how you're feeling. And so I sort of have two cards in this spread for what's covering you. We have how you're feeling, and then what you're actually doing, how that's translating in your 3D world, the actions you're taking, the interactions you're having, and the way you're then being perceived by others. I'm interested in lingering on this card here because someone else had this card in the exact same position in this spread this month. I think I've only chosen to use the Paulina Cassidy SpirtSong Tarot deck for a couple of you. And there was another sign, Scorpios, that had Awakening reversed there. It's tagged with the words renewal and enlightenment. It is the Judgment card in a more traditional tarot deck, and it's on its head here. Suggesting normally for me that you are having trouble forgiving yourself for something. You're not feeling comfortable having your mistakes and your evolution process basically exposed in front of other people. You don't want it to be known, everything that you've done wrong, everything you've had to come back from, everything that you've had to recuperate from, maybe. And I say done wrong lightly. What are mistakes really, if they're part of our evolution? Is it really even a mistake if it's helping us to grow? Well, how else can we learn, right? Sorry about this. I just keep messing with this camera. I want you to be able to see some of the cards. I guess, again, because this deck doesn't translate, you can't really see it anyway. I will hold them up and show them to you. So the first impression I'm getting is it's like you are having fond memories of someone from your past. For some, it may be a soulmate energy with the Six of Water showing up for us. And you are unable to forgive yourself for what went down between the two of you, for how this situation came to a close. Something transpired with this energy that you have these sentimental memories about that do bring you joy when you visit them, that you're having trouble forgiving yourself about, and or you just, like I said, don't want your role in the matter, what you feel to be your mistakes in the matter exposed. Not only to this person, that person actually may know, but to other people. You're not it's indicative of not being comfortable walking in one's truth. Possibly having karmic debts that do need to be paid. And see, the thing about the Judgment card energy, or awakening as it's called here, is that even when it's in reverse and there is karma that needs to be balanced, and even if that is meaning that you have karmic debts to pay, once they are paid, once that karma is balanced, your karma is cleared. You have those restrictions, that weight, those chains off of you, that burden, that heaviness is you're relieved of it. Once the karma is balanced, which yes may mean karmic debt needs to be paid. We will get clarifications on these clarifier cards for these. And then you have the Tower also reversed in your near future. So maybe by mid-month, if that's how we're looking at this, as a 2-week reading. The time being fluid, the timeline will be slightly different for all of us always in these general readings. And to me, I see you trying to rebuild with someone. Now, I am not saying that beyond a shadow of a doubt the two of you are working together to rebuild. But I do see you trying to rebuild with someone, making an attempt at it. This person you have fond memories for. This person that brings you joy to think of. Who maybe you have wronged in some way and can't forgive yourself for. You're hoping for some time to do some soul searching and reevaluation, or else you're hoping that this other person will, in light of your feelings on the matter. In your hopes, it's actually the Four of Water. The Four of Shells in this deck, or the Four of Cups, you may know it as. So yes, you're doing some soul searching and hoping for more time to do so, and hoping that this other energy does, I think. But also the Four of Cups talks about ignoring an opportunity that you're being offered because you're focused on opportunities that you can no longer have. And the Four of Cups is before the Five of Cups energy of mourning. You may need to withdraw and realize that this is something that never was mourned, deserves to be mourned, and need to move into that space on your own where you let that happen if it never did. That's the message for some. Unfortunately, overwhelmingly, a message coming through for some is that it isn't something that you can have any longer, Scorpios. It is just something to be mourned. But that isn't for all either. So, you know, I'm not here to tell you to pick and choose which viewers don't stand a chance with this individual they like to rebuild in some way with. And that's not the message here anyway. What's needed is this, what you're hoping for. This time to go, to withdraw, go within, and soul search about your true feelings on this. And maybe you already know, but maybe you don't. Maybe these fond memories, this sentimental joy is just that, fond memories. We can be very attached to or in love with even our memory of who we thought someone was, our memory of what we believed a connection to be at the time. And through some withdrawal, yes, and some soul searching on your own, you can suss out your true feelings about this situation, this other individual person, if that's what we're looking at. I do think so, with those two otters pictured there, that we're talking about a pair, a couple, a partner. Now, likely that's a romantic partnership, yes, but this isn't specifically just a love reading. It could be a good friend, an old roommate, a family member, a job and a boss, a coworker. It could apply to different areas. And 66 may be particularly significant for you this month, Scorpios, with the Six of Shells and the Six of Acorns showing up. That, again, is the Six of Water we saw already, and this Six of Acorns represents success and triumph. It is the Six of Wands, the Six of Rods, the Six of Fire. Victory is the word that comes to my mind always, first and foremost, when I see this card. And a humbling, much the way that a victorious soldier may be humbled after a battle with a worthy opponent, right? It speaks of victory, yes, but a victory that changed the victor, humbled the victor. And this isn't a certainty. This is a fear of yours, actually. For some of you, Scorpios, who have significant fire in your chart that you identify with, you are not all Scorpios, and I'm not saying not all Scorpios who are viewing this message, and not all individuals out there who have fire in their chart. That is not what I'm saying. That this is just the message here. But those Scorpios that have some fire in their chart, identify with significant fire in their chart as well, I feel like here it's saying, well, especially you, but even some other Scorpios too that don't. I feel like we're seeing here that you're hoping to rebuild with this person, but you're afraid of commitment at the same time. You miss them. You have fond memories of them. it's not that that your union or partnership, whatever you would call your coupling, it's not that the coupling falling apart was all your fault, but whatever part you did play, you are having trouble forgiving yourself and owning your truth and standing in your truth in front of anyone else regarding this matter. So this is very serious and deep. It's not just fond memories. It's not just missing someone. It's missing someone who may have felt like a soulmate, missing someone who thinking of someone who being without them and losing them leaves you looking for forgiveness for yourself, unable to find forgiveness for yourself. That's how much this person meant to you. And then looking toward rebuilding. Those are our two major arcana cards that we have out: Awakening or Judgment, and then the Tower. I can't forgive myself, so I have to try to rebuild this. Now, for some of you, you're still with this person, and what we're talking about is you're wanting to rebuild things before it falls apart, which isn't possible, right? I'm not saying that if you're in a couple that you can't salvage things before they fall apart, but you can't rebuild if things haven't fallen apart yet. And that needs to be said, because some of you are in a situation where that is what needs to happen. You need to take time away from this person, at least. Let things come apart so that you can see what pieces you have to work with and then actually rebuild. This energy of the Tower in reverse, which here says release and revelation in the upright. That energy reversed, yes, it can be rebuilding. That is the first thing that came to mind for me, but it also can be someone being in denial of the fact that a situation needs to fall apart. I think for many and most, this person is just a memory at this point that haunts you, and you are looking to totally rebuild. But for some couples, you're headed toward a tower moment or everything falling apart in a way, and you're resisting it. If something has transpired between the two of you to where one or both of you is having trouble forgiving themselves for whatever was said or done, chances are that some time is needed here. And how much time is, a personal matter that's up to you. We can dig deeper into what would be most beneficial for the relationship, the connection, and yourself as an individual in a private reading, if that's something that you're interested in. But I just want to be clear when I say a break. Maybe for some of you that just means some time to yourselves, like a day or so. If you live together and on top of each other, that could be a significant hiatus to you. Just time alone or apart that you don't normally get. Now we also have the Knight of Crystals, and this is getting too long, Scorpios, but endurance and determination shows up here as the lesson. The Knight of Crystals is also the Knight of Pentacles. This is the Knight of Earth. A slow, steady, patient, stubborn energy that pays attention to detail, that understands that slow and steady wins the race. So some signs that I'm noticing here, if that's of interest to you, I see Aquarius and Aquarian being an issue, and Aquarian being present, relevant, if not Aquarius in your own chart. I see Cancer now. I did say fire in your chart, but there's also this earth energy here as well. I don't know that the earth energy is a character though, because that's your lesson. And then more fire in your advice. Discovery and enthusiasm with the Page of Acorns, the Page of Wands, the Page of Fire. But it's reversed. I think for a lot of you, you need to... You're asked to move forward, or advised really, to move forward at a slow and steady pace, like the one that the Knight of Crystals would move with. Give me just 1 second. Okay. I kind of see here, with that being the lesson, that it's like things won't move forward for you without doing so at a slow and steady pace. I feel like you're being advised not to send this person not to send this person a message, especially if you do have fire in your chart, like I said. Yeah, if you have fire in your chart, and this is an Aquarius Cancer energy that you're dealing with, do not send this person an enthusiastic message about wanting to rebuild, only to end up realizing, perhaps for some of you yet again, that you're too scared to commit. That's one message here. That's not for all Scorpios. I know that's not what all of you are doing. For some of you, the situation is reversed. You're looking at someone who's got significant fire in their chart, ending up telling you that they're the ones afraid of commitment. I know we don't have like the Hierophant here, not as though you all are picking apart the way that I personally read my cards with my with all the different decks that I use and my eclectic set of definitions, but sometimes I feel called to explain my reasoning to you, and I feel like often it ends up being relevant. So I just have I'm starting to allow this conscious flow to just come out, wherein I'm narrating things that it seems often don't need to be, but a lot of times I go back and watch parts of the reading of my readings, and it turns out that seemingly, boring trail of words had something significant in it for you to find. And I do love the messages that are relayed that way, when we as the readers don't even know exactly what we just said to you. In any case, that's way off topic here. I do think that you're advised to go about this at a slow and steady rate, to honor the fact that perhaps you do need to withdraw and consider if this is just something that needs mourned. Visit that question. Are you afraid of commitment, or is the person that you are having these fond memories of, are they? With success and triumph being the fear. Let's get one clarification card on that. And then we're going to look a little into the future and get a unifying message, and I will have to let you go. We are already 25 minutes in. Scorpios. Yeah, and then it's clarified with this indecision, the Two of Swords reversed. Which here is definitely coming off as an inability to make a decision, to take action. You have 2 victory cards here now. It's funny. I always use the word victory with the 6 of Wands or acorns here. I don't often use the word victory with the Chariot. It does denote that to me, but I try to reserve that word for the 6 of Wands, right? But it's almost like the minor arcana version of the Chariot, which is the Cancer energy that I told you I may see. It's also that forward motion that we were talking about. It speaks of the willpower or the ability to bend nature to your will. And it also talks about that determination that's noted with the Knight of Pentacles. I get the feeling that the Chariot is moving at a faster pace, and that's more the pace that you want to move at. This is someone who not only has a youthful confidence and energy, but is so committed to the goal, to the idea of what they're driving toward, that they will mow down anyone or anything that gets in their way, that stands between them and that goal. And there's always this message that victory is only the beginning. So I think that's exactly what we're looking at here, Scorpios. It may be that you're afraid, you or they are afraid of commitment because there is someone else. And that's why we see this indecision. They want to rebuild, or you want to rebuild. Someone, again, feels like they can't forgive themselves to the extent where they need to withdraw from everything else they're trying to do. And yet, when it comes down to it, if you two were victorious, if you got on the same page and said, yes, we feel the same way about each other, what's next? There's this fear of that success, that victory, and there's this indecision that comes along with it. So either that indecision is just because of a fear of commitment, or something else that stands between the two of you that's specific to your situation that I can't touch on without it being a personal reading and having time to dig deeper. Or, as I said, or there is possibly someone else. What's important is that there's this other road, this other choice, this other path that's present for them. For some, it's, just a lack of commitment on that road. For some, it's someone else. But that's what one of you is looking at. At least one of you is really wanting to rebuild this connection and having very fond memories about it. But at the same time, one of you is very apprehensive about the fact that victory would be only the beginning. Which really makes me think that it's the commitment thing. For some, maybe there is someone else, but for most, I think it's a matter of commitment for some reason. As a Taurus, Sun, Mercury, and Venus, I'm stumped. I just don't understand that energy. I just don't get it. You love them, you miss them, you want to rebuild. Why don't you want to commit? I just can't possibly relate. Which is funny. That's why I feel so stumped. I'm like, what? Am I really seeing that? But I think that is what I'm really seeing here. One of you is afraid to make that commitment, is afraid of what comes after the victory. For you two to admit that your feelings are still the same for one another, to reunite and rejoin in a spiritual, emotional sense, would be the victory. But then what's beyond that? The tangible commitment, the daily responsibilities or activities together, the actual nuts and bolts and skeleton of a relationship that would go along with the commitment. in any case, whomever is wanting to rebuild, whomever is wanting to either get back in touch with this person, or again, maybe make sure that you don't lose them. We're over 30 minutes, but it's like you're being at, your lesson is to learn to ride in with this Knight of Pentacles energy, or approach the situation with this Knight of Pentacles energy, when in your heart and in your soul you're wanting to ride in at this chariot pace and with this chariot speed and at this gallop. Especially if you're the one who's going to gallop in only to realize, oh, you're still scared of commitment. Again, the advice is don't haul off and shoot off some passionate, enthusiastic message that you're not ready to back up. Do withdraw. Do think about what it is that you're going to be communicating, and consider that as much as you love them, I think that's the situation, or as passionately as you feel toward this matter, if you don't have something solid to offer behind that passion, then what is the cause, or what's the effect of riding in with this youthful, confident energy? Just to make an impression, just to make a scene, just to make yourself known, I think is what I more mean to say. I do think some of you need to ask yourself what it is you would be asking this person for. Again, the questions that I see here are these just fond memories? Or is this person still someone that you have those feelings for? Would you even do the same activities or be the same people anymore if you engage together now? Is there any way to get this nostalgic picture back, or is it just a memory? Certainly if they have moved on, if they are in a happy relationship with someone else, then overwhelmingly the message is to withdraw and move into a period of mourning. That is not to say that you can never be with that person, that you will never meet, that your paths will never cross again. It's just that that's the way forward for you now. And if there is an opening, if there is room for communication, or the two of you maybe haven't even technically completely split yet, then again, I don't mean to be harsh, but I feel like saying, what is the point of riding in all confident and enthusiastic and energetic and ready to be victorious, and we got this, and I care so much about us and this, that I want the situation we had back, if a few moments later, or a day or a week later, the conversation turns to, well, I don't know about actually committing. Those things are just so contradicting, and likely some of you are wanting to ride in with that chariot energy, but some of you are dealing with a Cancerian energy that the chariot is representing, and they really need you to take it slow and easy. You need you to take it slow and easy, or again, the situation is reversed and it's them who's maybe wanting to rebuild with you, who's maybe riding in too quickly toward you. If it's them who has a fear of commitment, who has difficulty actually making that decision when it comes down to it, then definitely the advice is, don't you send them a message, a passionate message. Because I think you in that case, I think you can easily get this person to say everything that you want to hear. That's not the issue, right? honestly, I hate to relay this message, but I'm just going to. Honestly, I just don't think whomever in the situation has exhibited a fear of commitment before, I still don't think they're ready. Again, I'm not going to say that they never will be, but I'm also not going to say that you should wait. If you try to move forward with this, to see this through, you will see by the end of the month how the situation is downright abusive for you. Now, that doesn't mean that anyone intends to hurt the other. But whoever in the situation is unable to commit, but keeps charging in and rushing in with an air of, I love you, please forgive me, let's rebuild, only to withdraw just before it's time to actually walk that path with the other person, there's no hope of them changing their ways in that right now. Now I see Aquarius twice and turned on its head both times. The Awakening card is not normally Aquarius, but in this deck it's a peacock. That's Aquarius to me. Then we got the Star card, 2 major arcana cards saying Aquarius turned on its head. So actually it's likely that the person who can't forgive themselves, the person who is struggling in that way, has some aqua energy that they're grappling with as well. And I think I mean in their own chart, that tendency to overthink, the inability to then make a decision is relating to their yours or theirs, that person's, that party's inability to commit ultimately. That is curious and interesting to me too. Learning more astrology all the time, and I have aqua in my own chart. But yeah, with the Lover's card upside down, it's like, as I said, there are these 2 paths. I do see these 2 paths. I see the 2 of Swords reversed. I see the Lovers reversed. I don't, as a reader, I don't necessarily take that to mean that there is someone else, a third party. It could be, of course it could be. It's likely that you know about it if it is here. And as usual, that is almost unimportant. It doesn't matter. It's not the message, because the message is for you, whomever is watching, and about how you can better this situation for yourself, or better understand it, feel better within it, course correct if need be. Sometimes in those situations, yeah, it is relevant to know then if there's another party. But I think that's why you're advised not to send this message. Either because you're sending it to someone or as someone who ultimately is not ready to take that other path that we see in the Lover's card. The Lover's card is about choosing a whole new path once you meet someone that you can't leave behind, that you can't go on without. And someone is in a real predicament here, just to beat the horse over the head one more time, because they feel that way. That other path is there because you or them, one of you feels that way. Well, I think you both feel that way, that you see the other path there that you two could take together. But one of you, while they can't leave you behind, or you can't leave them behind, one party, while they can't leave the other one behind, and they are thinking back to fond memories and feeling still unable to forgive themselves, they're simultaneously not choosing to walk the road that you can walk down together. And they're not really completely going on their own down the one that doesn't have you on it, down the path that doesn't include you. So a big part of them And so then consequently, the two of you is just lingering at that fork. And with the Six of Cups, you know, that can be an energy from long ago. So it may be that that's been happening for quite a while. In any case, like I said, if you do let this continue on, by the end of the month, if not sooner, I think you'll see how it's downright abusive. For whatever party is ready for commitment, is ready to take that path, the pattern of being jerked back and forth like a rag doll is becoming abusive for them. Again, it's not to say that either one means or intends that to play out that way, but it's too imbalanced, it's too unjust to continue. It's too rough. It does hurt too much, even if you don't intend for that. The two of Swords reversed, the Lovers reversed, and Justice reversed. There's a good chance that we're talking about a divine connection and partnership that's very significant to both of you, that has a lot to do with your life path and purpose. And yet, at this time, if not in this lifetime, the two of you are not choosing to actually walk that path. For some of you, though, the lesson is to be patient and steady and pay attention to detail, because this is something that's coming in the long run. This is a union that will come to be. This is a rebuilding that can take place. This is a path that will be walked. It's just not here yet. Now, that's not for everyone, and that's not to encourage you to wait, because I could be talking about years and years. Again, these are specifics, these timelines where we could dig into with a personal reading. I'm going to stop saying that, though. I'm not trying to push that on you. And this then indicates, as our other set of two that we see here, that they just need, or you do, whomever is unable to commit right now, to get these two parts of themselves headed in the same direction. It's as if whomever is lingering there over the decision, the fork in the road, staring at the two paths, it's as if they have something very, and here's where we're going to start paying attention to the detail together. It's as if they have something very profound and deep and important that we don't see right this second to understand about the fork itself, to understand about that moment and that decision. And they are afraid of it, and it is paralyzing them. It's different for each couple here. The person who's having trouble with commitment, there are different reasons, issues rooted in childhood across the board, pretty much, but different specifics, obviously. And some of you will find that later on down the road they catch up with you, and that says nothing about what you should do in the meantime, how long you should wait, what other part. And I keep talking to the person who's ready for the commitment and is like dealing with the one who isn't, but I'm not sure which one that is. For some Scorpios it's you, for some Scorpios you're dealing with someone else who's putting you in that situation with them. But the party who's ready to commit will find down the road that the other party catches up with them, for some. Yeah, and I just can't give you a specific timeline. But I'll repeat one more time that the advice is not to send that message. Not with that passion, that fire, that enthusiasm. Gung-ho in the direction of a path that is not ready to be walked yet. It needs to be stared at for a while longer. I really am feeling like that's a lesson for somebody. There is something profound there to be inspected about that fork in the road itself, about that decision that we all make at some point to change course, often because of a lover, often because of someone that we want to walk a different path with than the one we've been on. There's something about that moment that some of them just, they need to stare at it for a while longer. There's something they're untangling in their own psyche, their own childhood, their own issues, and they need to be at that spot. And in that case, whomever is ready to commit is sort of triggering this response, and whomever isn't. And it's different for everyone how long that's going to take them to work out. In January, we have this King of Wands energy showing up. This is likely in 2019. Some focusing on their own business, being an entrepreneur, focused on socializing, being charming and bold and fearless. And some, though, are meeting an energy like that. The King of Wands and the King of Feathers showing up on the bottom of the decks. See, you have, this just keeps getting longer and longer, but I have to finish the message. For those of you who are waiting for a fire sign, it does look like in January, there in the beginning of 2019 anyway, there will be some sort of interaction, communication with them. That's not to say that the actual rebuilding will begin, but overall, what I see here is justice and justice turned up right. My saying to you, there is something abusive happening, whether anyone intends it or not. And then justice and logic, justice being noted along with logic on the upright card here, is saying that in order to stop that unnecessary abuse that maybe no one's intending, you, the listener here, will have to apply logic to this scenario, situation, what you have going on, rather than your emotions and your feelings, which are sentimental and joyous and certainly of missing this person. I keep saying, I'm sure that's true with your nostalgia card showing up there. So whether it's you suffering from the back and forth of this on-off thing, or them, or both, that's something that you're only going to be able to see logically. Listening to mine or anyone else's explanation and breakdown of the situation and approaching it from a cerebral place. It's funny, I think I was just telling Leo that they really needed to make a heart over head choice and decision, and here what's coming through is that you really need to apply your logic in your mind and your head over listening to your heart. It just doesn't feel natural and right to say. But when abuse is introduced into the mix, again, whether it's intentional or not, when we're being harmed or accidentally harming someone else, sometimes that's the only way to rectify the situation. That's the only way to correct things. Logically break it down, remove your emotions and your attachments and your desires and your hurt feelings. All of that has to be removed and detached in order to look and see, okay, is anyone being mistreated? Is anyone getting hurt? Am I getting hurt? What's this doing to my mind, body, and spirit? So for some of you, it's asking that question about your own role and what you may be causing for someone else in this interaction, in this connection. And for others, you're asking, are you yourself being hurt in some way that I don't sense they mean to? In any case, now that you have almost an hour-long reading, I can't believe I tried to get out of this every 10 minutes for 50. I will have to leave it at that, those Scorpios. I do hope that it helped. I hope that something came through that gave you some insight, or just something that you didn't have when you came to the reading, at least. And thank you again for liking and subscribing. I'm going to actually peruse our astrology quickly before I let you go too. I don't know how this got so long. I don't know how some readings I can do in 20 minutes and others I can't get done in an hour. So we do have Mercury retrograding into Scorpio today. Tomorrow. It's on top of us anyway. We've been feeling that energy anyway, even if it's a day or two away. We've been feeling that energy. And that could be the Scorpio energy showing up. That could be another reason that the advice is not to send that message just now, regardless of which party you were in the scenario. That could be another reason, because Mercury retrograde, it does go station direct on the 6th, still in Scorpio. And then, yes, it moves into Sag on the 12th. But even after it stations direct, we will be feeling those effects for a couple of weeks at least, the shadow period, right? So that could be another reason why it's not the opportune moment to communicate. If they or you have significant Aquarius in your chart, that could cause some extra communication issues and problems and complications just now. Venus is going to be in Scorpio with Mercury here in a couple few days. Then, of course, there's the new moon in Sagittarius. And see, that could be a lot of the fire energy that we're seeing, which I was taking myself away from when I was doing this reading. But that could be a good bit of the fire energy here. And that could be another reason to allow yourself the soul searching and withdrawal that you may be leaning into with a lot of Sagittarius energy this season, this Sag season. Making one or both parties feel like they're ready to rush forward with more energy and passion and fearlessness than they're ultimately prepared to give to the commitment of the matter. Now, for those of you that are just looking for passion and reuniting quickly, and you're not interested in commitment, then this looks great. I mean, it looks great anyway. It's just a space that we're moving through, that we're zooming in on to see how we can navigate it, right? But in that case, then it looks like you're getting what you want. But ask yourself, is there any chance that you're the person in the scenario who doesn't want the commitment, but the other party does and would be hurt by it? That's, again, just for a few. I always do that. I always end on a note like that. Mars moves into Aries on the 31st. So there's more fire energy. That's at the end of the month, though. And I think that's another reason why we saw the King of Wands here, too. Now, that may be more of the time to take real action on the matter. But I'm not an astrologer, and those transits play out differently for each and every one of us. I can see right now, I'm just letting this go over an hour. For those of you who this did resonate with that are still invested, I can see right now someone's still unable to make a sacrifice come January, come 2019. And the two of you, again, I do think it's a very significant divine commitment that has a lot to do with your life purpose and path. The two of you consider the directions that you're going to choose yet again. And yet again, it results in no earthly opportunity. I think the spiritual commitment is there, the emotional commitment is there, but the physical commitment in a 3D reality, the physical presence day in and day out, and the real relationship is still not forming in the beginning of 2019. For those of you who repeat a cycle, hang on, wait to see, don't take the advice, the same thing is going to happen again. And I feel so certain of it. I feel so certain of it in my bones, in my body. I'm getting indications that that is the truth, beyond, from myself, beyond just the cards. And still I have to say, like I've said to everyone else, that you can always change the path that you're on, that you always have a choice, you always have options, that your free will and other people's free will is always at play. And so these outcomes can change, and these paths do move and are altered. Normally, though, it is acceptance that changes the nature of things. It is accepting what we cannot change that gives us the power over it to begin changing it. Ironically, that just seems to be the way things work. Again, so even those, that is the path that you're on now. For those of you who would go ahead and repeat this cycle, it's going to be what it was before. And that's just the path that you are on now. If you are desperately looking to head down that path, but see a different outcome than the one that you and I both know is coming, it's not possible for that to happen for everybody. But for those of you on that particular mission, I do believe that being able to change the nature of this, bend nature to your will, so to speak, is on the other side of accepting that you can't change it. It gives us a fresh perspective, right? Once we go, okay, divine says no, or the divine says this way, then okay. Suddenly we can see with new eyes. Suddenly we see with eyes that can find loopholes, cracks, alternate routes, for lack of better terms there. In any case, that's far too much. It's almost an hour now, so thank you again for comments, likes, subscribes, shares, emails, messages. I love hearing how things resonated. Let me know. Again, scroll down to the description for private readings. Free readings I'll return to in the beginning of 2019. I am doing yearly readings. You can email me at LunarticksTarot@gmail.com if you're interested in those or any of the other readings that I offer. And otherwise, a special thank you to those who have purchased and donated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all very much, Scorpios, and I will post another tarot fix for you as soon as I can. In the meantime, do make very wise choices moving forward.